Wait 30 seconds here for the delay and tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Do 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 do. Okay, here comes probably the ad. All right. Good evening, gang. Happy Saturday. Anybody else sick and tired of cold weather, snow, and ice? Thank God, one more freaking day of this mess and it's over. We're supposed to be in the 50s next week. I just had it. Stuck in the house, doing nothing, going nowhere. It's just, so, yeah. But I hope everybody's staying warm, getting whatever inside stuff you need to get done, or maybe it's just take some snow days and chill out, relax and unwind. It's funny, I hear stories, down here near the entrance to the peninsula, which is we're 7 miles away from me. I guess there's so much ice on the road that they had to close down the roads yesterday because a bunch of cars kept sliding down a hill and crashing. So yeah, we weren't going anywhere. But you think about this, and this is where prepping comes into play. This has been what are we on, day 5, day 6 here of this, at least for us, and I know a lot of you guys, in other words, are in similar situations, whether it's snowed in, iced in, whatever. And we all look at it and go, okay, I've got my food. I don't need to run to the store and get eggs or milk or bread or whatever, like some people are trying to do. We're okay. But the storm doesn't end tomorrow. The storm for some people is going to continue till the end of the month. And I'm not talking about weather. I'm talking about all those people that didn't go to work for a week. And their jobs aren't going to pay them. So now all of a sudden when rent's due, or the electric bill, which is obviously going to be higher for everybody, is due at the end of the month, they're short a quarter of their paycheck. And this is something that I've said for many, 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 many times on the channel, is having money put back, okay? Having an emergency fund. Not being able to go to work for a week, those that have that emergency fund are going, they didn't even think about it. Go, no, okay, fine, rent's due, no big deal. I'm there. Those who are in society, I'm not assuming it's anybody here, living paycheck to paycheck and going, oh my God, rent's due on Thursday and I don't get paid till Friday. Hope to God I can float the check for the day. They're freaking out. Okay. And so you get into further situations there in our economy, not that people are going to get evicted because of their late a week, but I know, God, this goes back 10 years ago. Yeah, 12, what was it? 2000, not even 8 years ago. And one of the apartments I lived in, the last apartment I lived in before Mrs. P and I bought our house, it was after 3 days, the late fee was like $200 to pay the rent. Okay. And our rent was like $1,000. So yeah, they took being on time very seriously. And that just adds onto the bills, and people have that. This is why many times I say there's more to prepping than beans, rice, and bullets. You've got to have contingencies for anything. Did a lot of people go into this storm last week unprepared? Yeah. Did any of us go into it unprepared? No, for the most part. But I'll bet you found a hole or two this week, that something that wasn't done. I told you about my kitchen sink, which thawed out, and it's frozen again because we're supposed to get down to 6 degrees tonight. So when everything thaws out next week, I will be climbing underneath my house and insulating some pipe. Okay. Been here in the house 5 years, never had that problem. And again, we've never had temperatures this cold. Now I know. Okay? So now I will take care of it. This is the thing. It's, as I've said many times, prepping is a journey, not a destination. You learn things as you go. And situations like we've had this week, as minor as it is, I mean, it's a freaking snowstorm and a cold spell, okay? And many of you have probably seen online or on TV people that are completely freaking out over it. The power didn't even go out. I mean, I lost power for a half an hour one day. That was it. Okay. Some people have lost power for a little bit longer, but we haven't had any major blackouts anywhere that I've seen from this storm. And people are freaking out. Imagine what happens when it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days without power, without heat, right? Okay. Imagine not being able to pay your bills. Imagine being one of the people that was so foolish that they're like, we don't have any food. Because, they don't bother to watch the weather forecast or something like that in January. You can't miss this stuff, but people have blinders on, and some of them have blinders on that are like this, and they look at that little teeny line in front of them and don't use any of their peripheral vision and say, gee, what's going on around here? Maybe I want to pay attention. This is what I'm hoping a lot of us picked up this week. Found the little things. Because as I said the other day, it's great that somebody's got a bug out location. But if you can't get to it, what good is it? And this week, I mean, we got ice yesterday. You weren't going anywhere, okay? I mean, it's funny watching the dogs walk in the backyard. I mean, my dogs aren't light. They weigh about 40, 50 pounds apiece. And they're walking on top of the snow, not breaking through, right? And every once in a while, they get a paw through it. Because otherwise, it was slide down the hill. Mrs. P went to try to go check the mailbox Thursday, I think it was. She couldn't make it past the steps because it was just a sheet of ice. That was it. Okay. These are the things that you have to prepare for. Again, it's prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Could a storm been a hell of a lot worse? Yeah, we could have had an ice storm and taken down some trees out here, which could have wiped out some power real quick. We didn't get that, okay? But I'm sure there are places that had trees go down over power lines somewhere, and people were without power for a certain amount of time. Imagine being those line workers outside in 6-degree temperatures here, or colder up north, trying to fix a broken power pole, right? Okay, yeah. In an SHTF situation, they ain't coming. You aren't getting power back, period, right? It's the things to just pay attention to. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I've taken away from here the last few days out of thought process on all of this. In the world today, I guess we had a ballistic missile attack on our air base in Iraq by Iran. That's kind of interesting. That's going further. Just let's get us closer to war. Joe's begging for it. We had a lot of talk today about who Trump's VP candidate would be. And I know we talked about it Tuesday. Hoping to God he's not foolish enough to pick Elise Stefanik. Okay, they're trying to push her as, she's this great conservative and an uber Trump supporter. And if you look at her voting record, she was one of the people that voted for the NDAA to stop the pay raises for the military. She voted to continue to fund Ukraine. Yeah, not quite. They'll get on the news and say, I'm completely behind, Trump. I completely, patriots, America first. And then you go look at their voting record and go, really? Then why are you agreeing with, the Nancy Pelosi policy, right? Or now the Hakeem Jeffries policy. It's just kind of interesting to put it all together. I was working on that spreadsheet I was telling you about with the continuing resolution that got posted the other day, because hey, we got to kick the can down the road, you know, 6 more weeks. Let's just make sure we still, now it'll be 14 months into a Republican Congress, still working under a Democrat budget. You only have 24 months in a Congress, so pissed away 14 of them already, just still letting Nancy Pelosi run the show. Right. Okay. 107 Republicans agreed with the Democrat plan, okay, including the Speaker of the House. Bye-bye. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in November. I really want to see some of the potential challengers for even some of these Republican seats. Of course, that's an uphill climb because, Congress has their reelection fund that, Mitch McConnell for the Senate, I'm not sure who does it for the House, controls the money and says, hey, we're going to support this candidate. Remember, Mitch McConnell was dumping congressional funds into reelecting Liz Cheney. That went over really well. Harriet Hageman won, 87% of the vote or something like that. But they want to keep their people in. It's up to us to get them out. So, yeah, that's kind of the fun here that we're paying attention to. Hope you guys listened to what I was talking about this morning in the demise of society. No, this isn't a joke. This is not a game that we're playing. And we're gonna wake up one day, probably this year, and go, holy crap, everything we've planned for all of a sudden happened. And you're gonna look around your house and go, I'm as ready as I can be. Well, there's a whole bunch of other people just like this storm this week who go, oh crap, what are we gonna do? The government will have to save us. The government's the one that caused the freaking problems. They ain't coming to save you. All right, let's get into some Q&A here. As per normal, we will kind of go over how this works. If you got a question for me, please put it in all caps. Just makes it a lot easier for me to see in the chat box there, because I'm not reading the stuff in lowercase letters. So that way I know it's directed at me. It's like every other YouTube channel, so nothing new if you're new. The only thing I do require, guys, please treat everybody in here with respect and dignity. Okay, there's a lot less of that in this country. We can at least have it here for an hour tonight. If you want to be rude, crude, obnoxious, go somewhere else. Okay, or go to TikTok. You can find all the rude and crude crap you want over there. You ain't sticking around here. All right, let's get into some Q&A here, and let's see if I can get somewhere where the first questions are. Okay, David Galifaro. Hey, Pinball, was wondering if you would buy land now or wait till the market crashed. Also, I found a hole in my prep. Ice melt. Grr. I used 4 boxes of salt for my preps. Okay, there you go. That's something you learned real quick. To have rock salt or ice melt or kitty litter works. Okay, stuff like that. Those are good ideas to have. Don't sand, not so much. Okay. Kitty litter's not great for melting, but it will give you traction. Would I buy land now? Depending on where you are, yeah. Okay. There's some places you're going to get land cheaper than you could last year. There's other places where, forget it. Okay. I mean, Tennessee, Florida, the Carolinas, Missouri, Texas, land is going astronomically north. You live in California, even if you're in the conservative areas of California, you probably get land cheaper now than before. I mean, would I pay asking price? No, probably offer them half to 2/3 of what they're asking and see what they say. Worst they can tell you is no. Okay. And at least for the guys out there, we've been told no many times. I think we all dated, and there were a lot of girls that said no. Okay. We've heard no. One more time ain't going to kill you. So, throw an offer out there that they can refuse. Who knows? Maybe they don't. Okay. But if you're interested, and again, you can look. They've been trying to sell the lot for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, and they won $200,000. I'll give you 100, and you're done. Maybe they take it. Maybe they don't. Who knows what it is? But worst that can happen is they tell you no. BFD. Terry Moorhead, do I think Johnson is out? I think he will probably serve out the rest of this Congress, and I think we will have a new speaker in the next Congress, just because the last thing the Republicans need, and they really don't care. I mean, at this point, they're getting close to the rest of the year being their re-election campaign is all they care about. So don't expect to see a whole lot of work being done out of there. They're certainly not going to try to change the speaker. But I highly doubt that Johnson's going to be the next speaker because he's pissed off too many people. He's done some good stuff, but one of the big things he promised when they were talking about making him speaker was that he wasn't going to do any more continuing resolutions. They were going to come up with spending. That's 2 CRs now. Okay. And the biggest thing that Republicans have a problem with is the economy. Okay. And whether it's because of the southern border, whether it's because of spending on Ukraine, it's the economy, stupid. Yeah, Johnson's not going to last. Honestly, I'd be somewhat surprised if Johnson, after all of this, wins re-election in Louisiana. So he's pissed off a lot of people. Okay. Sword 5000. My property tax just went up by 39% in Southwest Ohio, even though the state constitution says they can't go up more than 1. Home insurance went up 20%. Gas is $3. Luckily, I save for retirement. Okay, so the insurance going up. Yep, I know my car insurance went up. I haven't got my home insurance bill. I won't get that till April. It'll be interesting to see what that is. Gas. Honestly, guys, at $3 a gallon of gas, considering where it's been in the last 18 months, I'm not overly complaining. But, I'll give you this as a thought. When I started driving, which was 1982, I remember this because gas was 99 cents a gallon, and there was a total gas station at 15 Mile in Inkster. Yes, 15 Mile in Inkster up in Michigan. That's where I got my gas. It's 99 cents a gallon. I had my 1978 Renault car, and a 10-gallon tank. It cost me $10 to fill it up. I was in high school. I was making minimum wage. $3.35 an hour is what it was when I was 16. And so you figure, after taxes, 1 hour's work bought me 3 gallons of gas. 1 hour's work now buys you about, at $3, okay, buys you about 2.5 gallons of gas. So everybody that's screaming and yelling about inflation, yeah, we've got some over the last 40 years. But if you look at gas prices, not so much, okay? Depending on what state you're in, okay? Live in California with their $15 minimum wage. Granted, gas isn't $3, but you probably still get, gas is $5. They're still getting 3 gallons of gas for an hour's worth of work. Again, look at prices not on the dollar amount. Look at them as how much of your labor do you have to put in to get that product. And when you start thinking about that, you go, holy crap, if I want to buy that car, average car payment now is what, $700 or something like that? And you go, let's say you make $20 an hour, and you go, I've got to work almost a week to pay for that car payment. And then all of a sudden you go, holy crap, maybe not, So. Healthy disrespect for authority. Have I ever been in a band and what did I play? No. I tried to take guitar lessons when I was probably about 10. I got as far as playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and that was it. I think that's what the first three strings on the guitar. Yeah, no, I have zero musical talent. None. Would love to. Just my mind doesn't work where my fingers can do two different things. You know, the pat your head and rub your belly. That ain't me. Okay. Or rub your head and pat your belly, however it works. Jeez, here we go again, YouTube. Okay. Hang on, I gotta find where I was again already. Okay. Connie B. We have family here, so we can learn each time we get together and chat. Wisdom and numbers. Absolutely. And it's like I said many times, I don't have all the answers. But between all of us in here, there's 1,600 of us in here now. I'll bet you collectively we have 99.9% of them. So if I can't answer it, somebody else in here probably can. Holly H. Theoretically, can you buy precious metals with CBDC? I don't know. I mean, I can't give you an answer to that because we don't have CBDC. So, and like I said before, I don't think we'll ever have CBDC. Okay? As much as everybody said we were supposed to have it, what, a year ago? Oh, Fed coin is coming up in July or whatever. It never happened. Okay. And I'll go right back to what I said. What was it? Susan B. Not Susan B. Anthony. Harriet Tubman is supposed to be on a $20 bill. That was what the Obama administration put that one through. See, Obama hasn't been president now in what, 7 years? Okay. Right, they're going to get CBDC through. I'll never see it in my life. There we go. Got a hair in my mouth. It's driving me nuts. David Galifaro. Hi, Pinball was one. Oh, it's in question. Okay. Got it in there twice. Let's see where it was. Lake Lizard. Have I used my smoker lately? Do I still consider it a worthy investment? No, I haven't used it lately. And yes, absolutely, I consider it a worthy investment because I have a way to preserve game. I'll say it that way because the size I built it as, that most people don't. You know, if there's no refrigeration and you get a deer, how are you going to preserve it? Do you have enough salt to do that? Do you want to salt it all? Okay, I can smoke it. Okay, are you going? How long is it going to take you to can all that venison? A lot of it's going to rot before you ever get it in a jar. Okay, but I can quarter it and smoke it all at once. Okay. Did I build it because I want to smoke a brisket every once in a while? Yeah, kinda. Okay. I build it because I want to smoke some fish? Kinda. Yeah. It's got use, right? But it was more of this is something I have just in case. It's still usable. It's overkill to smoke a brisket. Okay. Not that it makes a big deal. I mean, I'd still wind up using about the same amount of wood anyway. Okay. But it's something I have that I don't have to worry about figuring out what to do later on down the road. I've already got it done. So, yeah, I consider it. I mean, for what, and granted, the way I did it, okay, was you don't have to go as, I don't want to say fancy as I did. I mean, you could easily have put, instead of put wood siding on there, you could have put sheets of plywood. Okay. But I don't think I've got maybe $1,000 in it. I mean, literally all it is concrete blocks, some 2x4s, a couple of sheets of roofing, you know, and some cement. And then I did the siding. That was it. It's not, it wasn't extremely expensive. Let's put it that way. You know, you're gonna for what I built that, you go out and buy yourself a good barbecue grill. Uh, Susan Lathrop, do I think the collapse will happen before the election? If you're talking about economically, everywhere I read says second or third quarter. So yeah, before the election. Uh, it'll be interesting to see how well the economy is artificially propped up before the election. You know, like I told you guys before, on a good side of things, you can expect gas prices to stay $3 down here where they are right now, probably for the rest of the year, or at least through November. Why? Because the administration will do whatever they can to artificially keep prices low. You know, just so that the opposition can't go, you got $5 a gallon of gas again. You know, I mean, those are the things that people that are always political hot button topics. The price of gas, the price of food. Okay, Joe's going to have a hard time with that one. But right now, the price of gas, nobody's really complaining about. I mean, I think last time I looked, which was last week, gas around here was like 265. Granted, it's still what 95 cents more expensive than it was when Trump left office, but people aren't complaining too much about 265 a gallon. Robert Lynn, how do we fight sky spraying in Tennessee? I wish I had that answer. You know, all this spraying aluminum and spraying all this other crap on us. I don't know. I wish I knew how to stop it, you know, because anytime you talk to, it doesn't matter what state, you know, talk to your representatives, they'll deny it. It's like, there's nothing like that going on. And y'all have seen the skies. Y'all know the difference between what a contrail looks like and what a chemtrail looks like. Okay. And it's, you know, they're doing it. Why? I have no idea, but they're doing it. And I wish I had an answer on how we could get that stopped. Nostradamus, is it true that it was okra that made AOC so smart? I'm not thinking that okra is probably a real common side dish in the Bronx. So yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's a little tattoo above her right ear that says inflate to 20 psi, but you know, who knows? What do you think? Hi, Mr. P. What do you think about those Kansas City Chief fans? Three guys at their buddy's house, supposedly freezing to death in the backyard. They haven't heard anything about it. Uh, uh, the only thing I'm going to say in that I bet my bottom dollar there was a lot of alcohol involved in that one. So, Montana Grizz fan, hey, long time no see. With China falling apart, will it invade Taiwan? Well, let's take a look at this. What's one of the biggest causes for countries to go to war in history? Economics. Okay. They want money, they want land, they want riches, they want whatever. And again, remember, we're talking about a communist government. There's a big difference between the military wealth and the population poor. Okay. China's falling apart, but like I said, Xi Jinping is not missing a meal. Okay. He doesn't care. That's it. Susan Lathrop, flour. How long to keep it in the freezer and then put the whole package in a Mylar bag or take it out of the original packaging? Uh, Usually about 3 days is as long as you want to keep it in the freezer. As for, I mean, if it's in a paper bag, just put the whole paper bag in a Mylar bag and you're fine. You can take it out if you want, but it's paper, it's breathable, so you're not worried about that. What they're being, make sure you use oxygen absorbers. Yeah, I mean, Would I rather have it out? Yes. Is it a lot messier and you're going to lose flour from the mess? Yes. You can do it either way. The better course of action is to take it out, but I mean, it's so minuscule better. I wouldn't overly concern myself with it. But 3 days. Jimmy Hat, can I suggest how to grow a garden if I work out of town? No spouse. Okay. Yeah, this actually is not overly difficult. And I'm assuming the issue that you're going to have is watering, okay? Because unless you're going to be out of town for 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time, okay, which at that point, you know, good luck. But if you're gone for a couple of days a week or maybe even most of the work week, you can get timers that you screw right into the spigot at the house and screw the hose in there, and water stays on. There's nothing wrong. And the timer will only open for the amount of time that you want it to run, say an hour or whatever, for the garden every other day or however you want to set it up. Okay. I mean, if you got to, basically what you're doing is creating an automated sprinkler system with nowhere near the cost. Okay. Now somebody says, well, I got two gardens. Well, you can get one of those Ys. You know, you plug this in, the top part of the Y into the spigot in the house. You got two arms to go to the hose, put timers in there. Now you can run two different hoses out to the garden. Yeah, when you come home, your weeds might be a little bit higher. This is why I've said use something like row cover, use something like weed cloth, use something like preen to keep your weeds down. But, you know, fertilizing your garden does not take long. Okay. I mean, even if you're going to go put 10, 10, 10 on there or whatever it is, get one of those little hand things to whatever, have the whole thing done in 2 minutes. So you're fine there. But my guess is you're talking about watering, and an automated timer for your hose is the perfect solution. If you've got container gardening, for example, you know, that it's not as easy, you don't have a yard, get yourself some 2 liter bottles, 2 liter soda bottles, cut the bottom out of it, okay, you know, just to leave as much of the bottle as possible. Take the bottle, stick the normal top, you know, where you pour the soda out of it, stick that in the dirt, fill it with water. That will slowly release the water into the soil for your pots. Billy Pollard, convincing others to prep is painful. Yes, it is. And the thing is, the best time to tell them is right now, right when they're in the middle of misery. Now is the time to tell them. Don't you wish you had this? Don't you wish you would have had that? Don't you wish you would have had, man, that would have been great. Well, you know what? I've been telling you to do this for, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years work. Because you know what? I had that and I had that and I had that. I wasn't coming over to your house, knocking on the door saying, hey, can I borrow a cup of milk? Okay. But you were over at mine because I had the milk. You know, the best time to tell them is to literally be obnoxious and stick it right in their face. Don't you wish you would have listened to me? You wouldn't have these problems. Maybe somebody goes, you know what? Maybe I will go out and get something and get started. But yes, it is painful. I will agree. It's funny how they'll bitch and moan and bitch and moan and say, oh, that's a waste of time until a situation like this hits. And then they go, damn, I'm glad I had that. Thanks for telling me. Dasha Kai, how do I deworm my dogs? I take them to the vet. Now, my dogs don't have worms, so they get their heartworm pills and they get their shots, and so I don't have my dog. I've never had a dog in my life that's ever had worms, so, but I'm very good about making sure I keep up with their medicines and their shots and flea and tick and that sort of stuff. Janet West, Bob Good would make a great Speaker of the House. I will agree. Bob Good would be a good one. Bob Good does not have any little X's on my spreadsheet yet because he hasn't voted for anything stupid. Beautiful Patriot, what kind of radios are in my preps for emergency comms? Okay. I've got a CB base station, and then I've got handheld CBs. I've got walkie-talkies, quality ones, not cheap little kids' toys. I've got two-way radios, and I've got ham radio setup, base station for ham radio setup. The only thing I don't have is GMRS, but I think I'm pretty much covered for about anything. So, Happy Canner, hello Pinball. Are the hunting rifles at Walmart any good? Actually, the 308 that I have, I bought at Walmart. So, yeah, and I mean that thing shoots straight. So, for the life of me, I can't think of the name on it right now. Shit. Uh, but yeah, I mean, as long as you're buying a quality brand, yes. That's it. Just, I mean, and again, if you think of it, you go into Walmart, you buy Winchester ammo. It's the same Winchester ammo that you're going to buy at Bass Pro Shops. Okay, it doesn't make a difference where you're buying it. You want to buy Kellogg's Corn Flakes at Walmart, it's the same as the Kellogg's Corn Flakes at Kroger. So it's not necessarily the retailer; it's the product. The manufacturer of it. Jalapeno prepper, I like that. Thank you for the super chat. Super chat. What did you say in there? So, of course, as soon as I saw it, hang on. Now I got to try to find it. There it is. Can Jiffy cornbread mix be stored long term? Yeah, no problem. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, cornbread mix will last somewhere around 5 years in a Mylar bag. So, but that is definitely something that you have to have oxygen absorbers in. And there you go. Somebody just hit it there. The 308 was a Savage. Yes. Okay, back to where I was. If I can find it again. Hang on. Okay, there's where it was. Soapy Gal 1, what do I know about a sand battery space heater? Nothing. I've never even heard of one. So, not going to be anything I can give you a comment on. Deb's Time 55. Did I hear or see where China is paying Russia in gold? AP posted about it, I think, yesterday. No, I have not. Not that it would surprise me, because what good is Russia going to do with Chinese yuan? Okay, and they're certainly not going to use dollars because China's trying to get the world away from the petrodollar. So they want to buy oil, and Russia's like, well, we don't want your currency. We want something that we can use. So again, you think about a currency system, guys, especially when you talk about international trade. All currency is a simple way to barter. And we've talked about this before, is if somebody wants to buy a can of beans from you and the only thing they have is bullets, if you don't want any bullets, you're not giving them the can of beans no matter how many bullets they want to give you. Okay, let's say, for example, everything you have is 9mm and 5.56, and they've got 10mm and 7.62. Their ammo is worthless to you. But if they can find, but the way the monetary system works, if they can find somebody that will buy that 7.62 for dollars, and then they can bring dollars to you, that's all it is. It's just a means of exchange. I mean, currency technically has no value. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, gold technically has no value. All it is a mineral that's been pulled out of the earth. Okay, it's the collective agreement between humanity that something has value. That's it. If the entire world says, every person in the world says gold has no value, then gold has no value. I mean, that's it. So, but at the moment, gold does have value, has for thousands of years, and that's probably what Russia's hedging on with this one going. We don't want your currency because we know your economy is falling apart. We want something that we know is going to maintain its value, so we'll take our payment in gold. Otherwise, we're not giving you oil. Mary Storer, opinion. Why has Governor Abbott or the federal government not sending illegals to Seattle or Portland? No idea. I mean, we don't hear about sending them to California. Not that California's not getting enough on their own, but sending them to Denver, sending them to Chicago, sending them to New York. You know, will they eventually get to Seattle or Portland? Probably. When they're like, okay, let's keep putting them somewhere else. I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, Abbott should just keep chartering buses, more and more and more and more and more. Hell, you want me to write you a check? I'll send you money to charter my share of chartering a bus. I don't care. You know, you want to be a sanctuary state, you deal with it. Don't ask for federal money either. Farm Ranch Homestead. I can play almost all kinds of music. Yeah, there you go. CDs, tapes, LPs, all but 8 tracks. Yeah, that's about it. So I can play the radio, and I'm not even good at that. Original one shot, one kill. Pinball. Did you see where Trump promised on CBDC another reason to vote for him? Yeah, that he said that it's never going to happen. I don't, like I said, I don't think it's a long shot. It's just that's a great promise to make because it's not feasible. You all bets are off. Thanks for having some real content on this app. Much respect. Well, thank you. I try. I mean, this is I've had people that'll email me every once in a while. I didn't see a noon video today. Why wasn't there a noon video? Because there wasn't anything to talk about. I mean, that's it. I mean, I'll always do a morning video. There's something that I can discuss in the morning, but I'm not going to make a video just for the sake of making a video if there's nothing important to talk about. And you guys know as well as I do, some of my videos are a lot more important than other ones are. Okay. But, I think my opinion is that, the things I talk about are important for more people than not to know. And as I've said many times, if it doesn't matter, if the topic of the day doesn't concern you, don't watch it. I mean, I get that. Don't waste your time. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. I'm not trying to waste my own time. I'm not going to make a video just for the sake of making a video. I try to have some sort of informative or educational or motivational point to everything that I put out. So, and I do have a life too. So sometimes there's things going on in the world and I'm just busy. I mean, this week, for example, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be away from home all day. There probably will be no lunchtime video either day that day. Not that there's going to be nothing going on. I'm just not going to be home. I've got a whole bunch of stuff I've got to do in the city this week. P Fletch 83. Any news on ammo prices as of late? I looked a couple of days ago. They really haven't changed that much in the last week. Nothing significant. So, we haven't seen any big drops or big spikes since the last time I talked about it. So, which is about a week and a half ago, somewhere thereabouts. So, Ann Bowery, do I have a black stone? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I don't have anything that I refer to as a black stone. But maybe I'm calling it something different than what you are. I'm not sure. Susan Lathrop, I work in a hardware store and did price changes. I had 24 to change. Only 4 went down and only by around 50 cents. And I'll bet that those are things that probably do not move fast off the shelf. Okay. The stuff that is purchased, the things that move quicker, those are the prices going up. Where the prices are coming down, it's like, oh, we want to create some shelf space. We got to get rid of this. That'd be my bet. It's like you go to the grocery store and you see vegetables on sale. And then you look at what the ones that are on sale. It's like, well, it's lima beans and Brussels sprouts. Not that I don't like both of them, but a lot of people don't. It's like, oh, are the peas and carrots or the corn on sale? No, but the lima beans and the Brussels sprouts are. But we have vegetables for $1 this week, guys. Right? Busted Beak. Hey, Pinball, how old of a CB radio should I get that would hold up better in SHTF? that's a hard question to answer because, see, I mean, there's still car-mounted CBs and the handheld CBs. They're still being made. The home base stations, that's hard to find. When I got mine a few years ago, it was hard to find. Uh, so at that point, I mean, fortunately, we found a new one, but I mean, you're almost to the point for those where you're looking for, through eBay or something, and then you don't know if it works. Uh, the reason that I have something like that is because I can run a whole lot bigger antenna and I get a whole lot further coverage on it than, a handheld or, the whip antenna on the back of a car or something. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Alaidwin Mayer. Sorry about that. You can smoke a deer, but the draw is awful. Okay. Not that I have a shortage of wood around here, that's for sure. And I mean, I've got probably 3 cords of seasoned wood out there that I can use, so I'm good there. Mountaintop Preps has probably got 10 cords of hickory up there that we could go through, so I think we're all right for the draw. But again, I'll go into this. Would you rather have a deer to smoke with an awful draw or no deer at all? Okay. I mean, these are the things that, we have to remember. When the world goes to shit, it's not going to be, oh, gee, I'm just going to live the same comfortable life while the world's blowing up around you. No, your life is going to change drastically as well. I mean, how many of you are pulling guard duty tonight in 6-degree temperature? Your shift is from 2 to 4. How many of you are doing that tonight? I'll venture to guess that 0 people are doing that tonight. Okay. World goes to shit. A lot of us going to be doing that. Okay. You may still have lights on in the house or heat or food to eat or, whatever. But there's going to be a lot of changes that you've got to be ready for. Because if you don't do those, all the prepping that you did is useless. I don't care if I built a smokehouse. If I don't have anything to smoke in it, what's the point, right? So how many and this one, some people will. How many people are going out and hunting their own food? Some of you guys are, okay. But in an SHTF situation, if you want meat, that's the only way you're getting it, guys. It's either that or you're trading something very valuable to get some. Who's your daddy? Did I see the witch doctor spitting on the World Economic Forum's panel as some sort of blessing? No, yeah, I mean, there's so many protesters and people that bitch about everything. I don't care what I want. I'm not worried about the showmanship that anybody's going to do. I'm protesting. I don't care if it's protesting against Republicans, Democrats, globalists, whatever it is. I don't care about them. Okay. I want to know the meat and potatoes, the fact, what is actionable. Okay. The fact that she's spitting on the World Economic Forum, that means nothing to me. So I don't pay attention to that. Leanne Crochet, gotta love it. What kind of fish does Mrs. P like? Salted, fermented, canned? Yes, all 3 of those. Salted fish, I mean, no problem. Pickled fish, absolutely. I don't know if she's done anything fermented, but pickled, salted, smoked, and dried for sure. She's not a big fan of baked fish, and she's okay with fried fish. So, prepping Mimi isn't Saturday night fedora night. No, Saturday night's hat night. It depends on what hat I feel like wearing. Let's see. Jerry Fish, have I heard anything about the Tennessee Gold Depository? No, I mean, I haven't heard anything about that in near a year. I mean, last I heard is that they had approved it, but then they had to go through and build it and do all this sort of stuff. So I really don't know what's going on. The only thing I will say on this one is my gold depository is in my house. I'm not giving it to anybody. Okay. Well, you can put it in our safe. No, then you have possession of it. I'll keep it in my safe where I have possession of it because as long as I've got it here, I know who has access to it. If I've got it there, I don't know. Antifa goes, hey, you know what? Gold depository. Let's see if we can get somebody on the inside. And they get some guy on the inside. Okay, we want to come in on Saturday night and clean it out. Okay. I find out what? Monday morning? Sorry, all your money's gone. I'll keep it here. Tennessee wants to put money in the gold depository. Let that. Tennessee can put it in their own safe. Me, I'm going to put it in my own safe. Acushnet Prepper, Obama is still the president. The guy behind the Wizard of Oz is he's playing. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's Obama and Susan Rice are the ones running the show. I mean, Joe isn't smart enough to know how to flush a toilet. Okay, he's certainly not running the country. Eden's Rogue, what is my take on so much talk about the grid lately? Well, I mean, some of it comes to the fact of this storm, okay? Uh, and then the rest of it comes into the fact that, we're having wars start all over the place with nuclear powers. I mean, Russia's a nuclear power at war. China is a nuclear power. Believe it or not, they are at war against India. I told you guys this morning, India and Pakistan are at war. Both of them are nuclear powers. Okay. Iran is, through proxy, fighting against Israel. Israel's a nuclear power. Iran is damn close to being a nuclear power. And it only takes, from all estimates, 3 to 4 sky-high nukes to go off to shut down the entire United States. And I mean, again, guys, think about it. Even if it doesn't come over the United States, send one off over Germany or England or whatever. We're in a world war. Okay. I mean, it doesn't even have to happen here. Vicky Savage, how can AOC be inflated to 20 psi when a hole in her ear goes all the way through her skull? Yeah, well, her ego certainly holds that much pressure. Grumpy G, what happens to flour if it's left in the freezer? It takes up freezer space. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the whole point of putting it in the freezer is to kill any sort of larva or eggs or anything like that could be in the flour. And then throw the oxygen absorbers in, so you're good. Okay. If you leave it in the freezer, it'll be fine. The only problem is you have better use of the space. Jalapeno Prepper, thank you for the super chat there. Appreciate it. You are most welcome. The Cripe Crew, when the economy collapses in Q2 or Q3 this year, what's it going to look like? The first, if you remember, and maybe some people do, maybe some people don't. You guys remember the stock market in October of '87? Or do you remember the stock market after 9/11? Or more recently, what the stock market was doing the first few days of COVID? Okay. When we're chunking off 1,000, 1,500 points a day recently, okay, I mean, obviously on a percentage basis, it was less in the 80s and less than 2000. That would be the first thing. Then what you'll see is the dollar collapse, which will mean prices will go through the roof. This is where we get hyperinflation. You take a look at what's going on in Venezuela or what happened in Lebanon or whatever. Go read up on some of that. Look at the Weimar Republic, back before World War II. Read up on those. That's what's going to happen here. Fastball 2611. Pinball, last year I fought the slugs with my cabbage. What is the best preventative way for your new crop? Uh, yeah, I had them last year too with my later crop. So this is why I'm going to plant earlier this year. Uh, I would like to have them already in cups now, but they aren't. But those will go in this week as it warms up a little bit. The only reason I'm doing that, yeah, they're still going to be inside, but it's in my garage, and I'm not going to run the heater in my greenhouse when it's 6 degrees outside and try to heat it up to 70. I mean, pumping electricity like crazy. That's the only reason I'm delaying it. If the temperatures go back down, I've already got it started, so be it. But I wasn't going to start behind the eight ball. Uh, My solution is to plant earlier. Cabbages can handle weather down to about 25 degrees, no problem. So that's not an issue. Again, I don't know where you live. You know, if you hear about people talk about beer traps and things like that, yeah, those work, but it's you need the preventative more than anything else. I mean, it's I don't have a solution for something other than the beer traps that are going to kill slugs and snails. So my solution is to plant them early when it's too cold out for the insects, or well, crustaceans at that point. Uh, Kimberly House, good evening, Pinball. Not sure about you, but I'm tired of living in Alaska here in East Tennessee. Yeah, I moved here to get away from this crap. I'm done with snow. I said to Mrs. B this evening, I said, okay. I said, this snow's got to go. I said, we've had 5 days of snow. I don't want to see any more of it. Let's see. Jay Myers, hello from Frozen, Tennessee. 60 by next week. Bring it on. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be, at least by me, I think we're supposed to get to 58 on Wednesday or something like that. It's just crazy. So, uh, my McIntyre, is my spreadsheet available for us to see? Not yet, because right now the only thing it's got on there are, I can tell you here real quick, I'll pull it up. It's everybody who voted for the NDAA, everybody who voted for continuing and funding Ukraine. It's got everybody who voted against impeaching Mayorkas and everybody who voted for the continuing resolution the other day. You know, and again, if you want to talk about some interesting things, you look at all these people who are claiming to be conservative, and I use Elise Stefanik again, okay? You know, oh, she's this great conservative. No. I mean, you look at, let's see if I can pull it up. Anybody in Florida 16, okay? 16th district, Vern Buchanan. If Vern Buchanan is your congressman, he's a Republican, okay? He voted for the NDAA. He voted to continue funding Ukraine. He voted against impeaching Mayorkas, and he voted for the continuing resolution. Can you say Rhino? He's voted the 4 big ballots we have taken since Thanksgiving. Well, since last summer, the 4 big ones, he's voted with the Democrats. Yet he's a Republican, right? Okay. I mean, Florida 27, Maria Elvira Salazar, same thing. She voted for all 4 of them. Kansas 2, Jake LaTurner voted for all 4 of them. North Carolina 5, Virginia Fox voted for all 4 of them. Oregon 2, Cliff Bentz voted for all 4 of them. Yeah, here's a name for you. Nancy Mace. We've heard this one quite often, you know, big conservative, right? She voted for 3 to 4 of them. Dan Crenshaw. We knew this was coming up. Dan Crenshaw, Texas, you know, guy with patch over his eye, rhino beyond belief, voted for all 4 of them. You know, and but there are plenty in here who didn't vote for any. The true conservatives, and I mean, you know, somebody mentioned Bob Good the other day, or, you know, a little bit ago. Yeah, Bob Good hasn't voted for any of them. Eli Crane, Andy Biggs, Paul Gosar. These are names you hear on the news all the time. Freedom Caucus guys. Matt Gaetz, Kat Kamak, Aaron Bean. There's some other, Corey Mills, Gus Bilirakis, Anna Paulina Luna, Byron Donalds. Let's see if I can find this out. Mike Collins. I mean, I keep it down to Georgia alphabetically by state. But there's a bunch of conservatives who actually vote that way too, surprisingly. But when I wanted to put this together, and if we get a couple more big topics, then I'll post it on Freesteading and I'll give you guys a link. I'll let you know when I do it. Just so everybody can look, so you can see, this is my congressman. And then, if you go to one of his town halls or go, why did you vote for this and this and this and this? I didn't. Yeah, you did, because I can give you the date, because I put on here the dates that the votes were taken, so you can go look them up. So, yeah. But yes, I will make that available to everybody. Lisa McLeod, thank you for the super chats. You are the best. You and Mrs. P are priceless. That's why we keep coming back. Well, I appreciate that. I try. I just want people to be knowledgeable, because now, in my mind, knowledge is power, and the more we know, the better we can fight back. North of the 52nd, how long will powdered milk last? Hang on, let me see if that's on my list here. I gotta go pull up a different spreadsheet. You can tell a lot of my life was spent in finance, right? Because I live and die in spreadsheets. 5 to 10 years. Okay. Again, as long as it is in buckets with a Mylar bag and oxygen absorbers. Okay. And it's past 10 o'clock already, and I just didn't even notice that. All right, guys. Well, I ran long again. Sorry about that. But, all right. Time for me to go to bed. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Pinball out.